Happy Victory Monday in Charlotte, North Carolina. Today is also Veterans Day, so a lot of people get this day, or at least the bankers get today off. Hopefully you guys are here to hang out for a little bit, have a good time with the guys. We are celebrating a lot of things, and the biggest one being the Carolina Panthers are officially on a win streak for the very first time since Steve Wilks was our head coach back in 2022. BB, how are we feeling on this beautiful Victory Monday?
It's good to see your boys get a dub on primetime, right? Even though it's 9:30 in the morning. It was fun to watch the Carolina Panthers get on a little 2-game win streak, like you said, first time since Steve Wilks. It's a rarity to see these guys win multiple games in a row, and it's exciting. And what a time to be alive for a Panthers fan.
Yep, what a time to be alive is right. And yeah, a lot of people were up at 9:30 watching that game. I'm just going to tell myself that Germany looked freaking lit, though. I mean, if we go back to Germany, I might be on that plane going to watch the Carolina Panthers play, because that might be our home turf from now on. The way that we showed up, the way that we played. Chuba Hubbard had an absolute day. After getting paid by the Carolina Panthers, he has a record-setting performance, I believe, with his most amount of rush yards in a single game, and he dislocates his knee, pops that bad boy back into place, and continues to Chuba right on down the Giants' throat. I heard a lot about Dexter Lawrence and that defensive line in New York, and Robert Hunt and the boys made them look a little bit silly, BB. I love to see that from the Carolina Panthers, and what a victory Monday it is in the Carolinas. Welcome to Unlocked with Key and BB. We have a lot on the slate. We got our man Maxie joining us today. In case you didn't know, Max is officially 5-0 in his mortal locks, and he says that he may or may not have another one for you guys today. And I think it's time that you guys stop sleeping, you hop on the train, and you roll with it. But BB, Daniel Jones in New York, I think he might be cooked. I think he just might be cooked. How did you feel about Daniel Jones's performance versus the Carolina Panthers?
Yeah, I think they have a much better roster than a 2-8 team. They have probably one of the most elite front seven. I wouldn't just defensive line. They have one of the most elite defensive lines in football. I know Thibodeau's been on IR, but Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence, and we knew Brian Burns was going to have a game against us. That guy, I felt like he was everywhere. Chuba broke one off for like 30 yards, gets tackled from behind. Who is it? It's Brian Burns. I'm like, what are you doing down here, dude? But in terms of Daniel Jones, he's flat out not it. It's sad that they prioritized him over an electric athlete in Saquon Barkley, extending him over Saquon. But It's just that's sad to see if you're a Giants fan for sure.
It's devastating to see, especially to see Saquon Barkley jumping over people backwards, having the time of his life in Philadelphia. It just feels like front office malpractice happened when they decided they wanted to pay Daniel Jones. I believe if I remember correctly, he was the highest paid quarterback, I think, in the league when he got paid. Is that right, BB? Do you remember?
I mean, probably. I feel like every QB that gets an extension is the new highest paid, so I'm sure it applied to him as well.
That's true. But yeah, Daniel Jones got paid a couple years ago, and instead they wanted to decide to, I guess, nickel and dime Saquon Barkley and kind of push it down the road. And next thing you know, they don't even get any form of trade compensation from the Philadelphia Eagles. He just gets picked up in free agency. And now here we are in Philadelphia. They are rolling. And a lot of people have a lot to say about Nick Sirianni, and he says dumb stuff, and I've said a thing or two. It's like, but I mean, honestly, you can't be saying Jalen Hurts has an ankle injury when he's out for rest. You got to know stuff like that. But nonetheless, they are rolling, and the Giants seem like some people are starting to chirp, BB, that they're going to take Shedeur Sanders with their number 1, number 2, whatever pick they have. They're going to get rid of Brian Daboll, and who's coming in? Mr. Deion Sanders. How electric would that be in New York if Deion and Shedeur teamed up in New York? I'm telling you, the place with New York would be jumping. The Black Tims would be out, and people would be feeling good in the Bronx. Would you be down to see something like that in New York instead?
I mean, we know Shedeur is going to want to go to a big market team. New York with Deion, I think, would be crazy. I don't think I could see Deion being an NFL coach. Like the way he coaches and like his aura around him, I don't know how well that would go with older grown men in the locker room that have their own sense of pride. And like I don't know if they would. I feel like everybody around Colorado kind of sucks up to Dion. I don't know if that would fly in the league. I would like to see it though. That would be pretty electric in a city like New York. Definitely, the fans would like it. I'm not sure about the players though.
Yeah, the fans would absolutely love it. I could see it going either way. And I mean, at this point, the potential number one overall pick in the balance, you got to figure out something in New York. You got to change something. And I'm not saying Brian Daboll is a bad coach, but Daniel Jones definitely has to go. We'll see if Shedeur Sanders is who they decide to pick at number one. And I mean, I'm going to be honest, I could see that team having the number one overall pick. You feel bad for some of the guys like Tyrone Tracy, who fights. He fights every time he gets the ball. He fumbles in overtime. And next thing you know, we're covering his face with a towel because he just might be crying. BB, you did not like that.
I think it's the NFL. Like you're going to lose games. I don't like seeing a grown man cry over a fumble. I feel like I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it. I told Max he should told our boy Maxi Stats he should drop him off his fantasy team after seeing that.
He's passionate about the game, though, BB. Like,
I guess
this means a lot to the guy. I respect it. I mean, crying, that's one thing. That's neither here nor there. But he's passionate, and you hate to see him. I mean, not versus the Panthers, but you do hate to see them lose game after game. And it's seeming like they are going to have that number one overall pick. And speaking of the number one overall pick, the Chicago Bears are looking pretty weak right now, and there's a lot of people calling for Matt Eberflus's job, but nonetheless, the second overall pick, Drake May, looked like a dog, BB, being a Chapel Hill guy. How do you feel about Drake's performance in that game versus the Chicago Bears?
I think Drake has looked good since he's been in the league. I don't think yesterday was like a game-breaking performance by any means. It was mostly just a defensive showdown in the game. I think there was only one touchdown scored the whole time. But like you said, being a heel fan, I feel like I've probably watched a little more Drake May than the average football fan. Watched him on all his college games, and he can be the real deal. He's got a lot more mobility than people give him credit for. He almost ran for 100 yards, not against the Bears, but the game before. I think he ran for 95 yards. So he can be a threat on the ground, and I don't want to say he's the best QB in the draft because we got Jaden Daniels, but he's definitely looking better than Caleb Williams. And I think he has the potential. He could be the best QB in this class. So I think time will tell.
Dude, my thing with Drake May is, I mean, he can make plays happen. Like with his legs, he made a couple of huge throws in that game as well. And like, if it's 3rd down and 7, and everybody's locked up, I trust Drake May to use his legs, and he's just making the right decisions. It feels like, for the New England Patriots. And if I'm a New England Patriots fan, I'm in business right now. I'm feeling good about the squad. I get it. We're 3-7. We didn't look great early on in the year, but now we put in Drake May and we're winning a lot of football games. As a fan, you have to love that regardless there's no way that Patriots fans saw this team going on to win the Super Bowl, but you get some big things coming out of Drake May, out of the team, out of Gerard Mayo as your coach, and you start to feel good. Speaking of Patriots fans, a pseudo Patriots fan is here with us today, and we're going to have him come on in. He's going to talk a little bit about his feelings on the entire NFL slate. We have to pick his brain on Jaden Daniels because he did just take an L versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I have an interesting stat for our man, Maxi Stats. Welcome to the show, Maxi Stats. How we doing today, brother?
What's going on, fellas? Doing good. Thanks for having me back on.
Let's go.
Okay. Welcome back, man. How did you feel about Drake May's performance? And how do you feel about the number one overall pick, but surely not the best quarterback in that draft right now, Caleb Williams' performance once again in Chicago?
Well, first I'm just gonna start this one off. Last year I gave Bryce Young a lot of criticism. I thought it was just completely on him, not the O-line or coaching. But watching Bryce Young this year, or watching Caleb Williams this year, I'm gonna have to take that statement back and say that it is not on Bryce Young, because Caleb Williams, I think he got sacked 10 times yesterday. I mean, the play calls are terrible, not drawing up plays for DJ Moore. So I just think it's I just think the Bears are in for a really long year. I mean, they got the Avengers out there and didn't get any help on the O line, and it's definitely showing that it is hurting them big time. So
It definitely is. It's very reminiscent of watching the Panthers last year. Like
yeah,
you say hike, and I'm not kidding.
yeah,
You say hike, and it feels like before the quarterback even catches the football, a defender's in his face, and you're like, and what did we just do? Did we just let this guy just walk through? So it is frustrating. Or I can understand Bears fans' frustrations because that was the exact problem with the Panthers last year, and obviously that's what we did in free agency. We went out and shorted up and paid 2 guards $100 million each. So, I mean, obviously, I feel for him, and I do think Caleb's better than what he's shown so far.
Yeah, I agree. I do not think that it is all on Caleb Williams. There are some people that are dragging Caleb Williams because it does seem like he's not seeing it right now. There are some plays where guys are open and he's just kind of patting the ball back there. But we saw it firsthand, and Max just mentioned it. Like, what happened with Bryce Young last year is literally happening to Caleb Williams right now. And Caleb Williams, like, we've all seen what Caleb Williams can do with a football in his hand. And nobody can do anything with a football in their hand if somebody's in your face 24/7, if guys aren't open. And clearly it's not the wide receivers, because we've seen Keenan Allen for years do it. We've seen DJ Moore do it for years. We saw Roma Dunze in college. Like, it's not the wide receivers. It's not Caleb Williams. The offensive line could use a little bit of help, but a lot of that has to do with the scheming too. Like, if you just expect a guy to be one-on-one versus a guy who gets paid the same way that they do, they're going to lose a fair share of those battles. You're expected to, like, if we're both really good players, it should be about 50-50. And if a guy loses 50% of the time as an offensive lineman, that's really, really bad. So, like, you have to get some help from play calling. You have to be able to scheme. You have to have answers. I saw plays again and again where guys are running booty butt naked right at Caleb Williams, and he gets buried. It's like, okay, well, where's the answer? Where's the hot route? Where's something for this? Like, where's the extra blocker? There are 2 guys literally running clean at Caleb Williams. And this is the kind of stuff that literally will ruin a quarterback. And we saw that happen to Bryce Young. We had to sit him down early in this season just so that he could get some of his confidence back. And you hate to see that kind of happen to a guy like Caleb Williams, because he does seem like a really good quarterback and a pretty solid guy as well. So hopefully they can get that cleaned up moving forward, because it looks bad in Chicago. Do y'all think Eberflus makes it through the rest of the season? Is he the coach next season, or is he gone?
He shouldn't be.
Definitely gone. Yeah, I think he's definitely gone.
I mean,
I just think everything with the Bears is kind of in shambles, because there was a video of, I think it was one of the 10 sacks, and then after the sack, there's no Bears O lineman in sight to help Caleb Williams up. Nope. You got the dude who sacked Caleb Williams helping him up and kind of patting him on his head, like, "Hey, man, it's okay. Like, you'll get through this game."
Yeah, I saw a graphic. It's like, it's weird what the Bears do. It was the same thing with Mitch Trubisky. They had a bad coaching situation. They drafted Mitch Trubisky into a bad coaching situation. Halfway through his rookie year, he got fired. Mitch Trubisky had to learn a whole new offense. Then it happened again with Justin Fields. They had a bad coaching situation. Then they drafted Justin Fields. Halfway through Justin Fields' rookie year, the coach gets fired. The same thing happened again. The Bears were not good last year. They had a bad coaching situation. They keep the coach. They draft Caleb Williams. We're halfway through the season, and they look atrocious. We could see Matt gone, and it could be the same cycle over and over. And you can understand why it's so frustrating for a Bears fan. You're like, can we get these guys just the same coordinator for a couple years in a row? I feel like it's been like a revolving door in Chicago. So you kind of feel for Caleb Williams, because he's most likely going to have to learn a whole new offense his second year in the league. But, yeah, I don't think Eberflus makes it through the year.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You want to see the quarterback have the same offensive coordinator, but not this offensive coordinator. You hope that you can get the hire right and hold the same guy. And luckily for, a guy like Bryce Young, he has, we might not be perfect in Carolina, but we are starting to find a formula and identity to build around Bryce Young, and hopefully that can happen for Caleb Williams because man, and hopefully that can happen for Chicago Bears fans because I know like they had a lot to say for the Carolina Panthers when Bryce Young looked weak last year and they fleeced us and they got all these picks and they got all these players, but none of that matters clearly. If you cannot get things right in the front office, if you're missing on picks, if you have guys that just can't block for the quarterback. So, I mean, it's a tough situation for Caleb Williams. It's tough for the it's tough for the Chicago Bears, but Drake May, it's great for him. He's looking good. He's looking like one of the best quarterbacks in that draft class. And, Caleb Williams, he had to take another L to another guy who was drafted after him. And that kind of stuff hurts. That kind of stuff hurts, but I hope that he is able to develop and continue his career strongly. In another game with a rookie quarterback, the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix fought versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And it came down to the very end, and Bo Nix did his part. He took them down the field. They scored. They look good. It looks like the Denver Broncos they're about to score. It seems like they're going to win because of a rookie quarterback. Are things going well in Denver? And then the field goal gets blocked and the Kansas City Chiefs stay undefeated. Week 1, right? It was Isaiah Likely. If he could have just had his feet in by that much, then they would have lost. Week 2, it was a walk-off field goal versus Cincinnati Bengals. In week 3, some people thought that was a pass interference versus the Falcons, and they should have lost that game. And then a coin flip a couple weeks later gets them the win versus the Buccaneers. And then now a blocked kick. And people are starting to say that's luck. This is BS. This is all luck. The NFL just wants them to win. But no, I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs are a team that prepare. They work hard. And then you start to create your own luck in that sort of sense. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to have a dogfight here in a couple weeks. But they are undefeated, and they are looking like potentially the best team in the league. Max, what do you have to say about the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes?
I've said it all year. I'm going to keep saying it. Mahomes bailed out once again. I don't even know exactly what his stat line was. I think he had a pretty decent game, but all year it's been the defense. Now it's the special teams. I don't know what kind of life he's living, but he is just living right. He is getting bailed out left, right, and center. I guess you got to give it to them. They just keep finding ways to win, but I think that changes very soon here.
I agree.
I think
at the bank.
Don't they play the Bills next week? I think they got Bills next week.
They got
Bills next week, and I think they're also going to lose to the Steelers on Christmas Day, I believe it is.
Well, they got the Panthers following the Bills. It's a gauntlet there they got to go through. So
they might be favored by 17.5.
My thing is, Max, I get your point with the whole Patrick Mahomes is getting bailed out, but it's not like Patrick Mahomes is selling these games and somehow the defense gets a pick six and they win. Like Patrick Mahomes has had a pretty solid season. Has he been the very best quarterback in the league this specific year? Maybe not. That would be Lamar Jackson. But Patrick Mahomes has done enough. And when your team is as good as it is, a team makes a mistake, you get the coin flip in overtime. Patrick Mahomes takes the team on down the field and we win that football game in overtime. This is the NFL. It's every single week. And I feel like Patrick Mahomes and this entire Kansas City Chiefs team is just reaping what they sow. And that is greatness in practice. That is greatness every single day.
Yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying there. But what I've been saying is Patrick Mahomes is not a top 5 quarterback this year, which, I think you just kind of said that yourself. He's been fine, but when you're looking at plays that if you take, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Mahomes just hasn't been the real game breaker that he has been in the last couple of years, like some of these other quarterbacks have been. Dare I say that Russell Wilson is better than Patrick Mahomes this year? I feel like that's not absolutely crazy to say. Russ pretty much single-handedly won the Steelers that football game on Sunday.
I mean, I guess we could get into that, but I do think the Pittsburgh defense made some really big plays in that game as well. And it's like, yeah, Russell Wilson had a great day. He had some huge throws late in the game and throughout the entire game that got them that win. And I do think that Russell Wilson has had a good season, but to say he's better than Patrick Mahomes is certified blasphemy, Max. He is not better than Patrick Mahomes. And I do think that throw that he made to Mike Williams, that was a little bit crazy. He just kind of hucked it up, and it was a dime piece in the back of the end zone. But I mean, I do think that Patrick Mahomes has done enough this season, and he's going to continue to do the things that he needs to do to win the football game. And I like Patrick Mahomes. He's not my favorite quarterback, and I do want to clarify. I said he's not the best quarterback, but he damn sure is top 5 in the league. And he is most certainly better than the guy who lost to this guy named Russell Wilson this week. Speaking of that game, Max, we have to talk about the fact that he didn't look that great. He did not look top 3 versus that Steelers defense. BB, how did you feel about the Washington Commanders game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers?
My question for this game was: is Russell Wilson the best deep ball thrower in the NFL? Like, can we go ahead? Can we go ahead and say that?
Yeah.
I feel like every time he did throw a pick deep to Pickens on that one play. Where talking about that play where Pickens just decided, this guy picked it. I'm just gonna go ahead and choke slam him.
Yeah.
Not really sure on that one, but he did. That wasn't the best throw, but yeah, I feel like every time he throws a deep ball, it's literally the receiver's running, and it's just every single time. But we said it leading up to this game last week during the show. We said that the Commanders haven't really faced a front like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know it was a 1-point game, and the Commanders were up 10 at one point. But will say this one was one of the worst games, not the worst, but it was I don't even know how to word that, a more worse game for Jane Daniels. I think he completed only 50% of his passes, so he finally faced an elite defense and didn't have the game we're used to seeing from him. But I still think he's a good QB. He's just to be number 3 in the league, like Max says, is that's a little crazy.
I mean, I think considering the circumstances, I think he actually played fairly well. I mean, yeah, he didn't have any touchdowns to his name, but I mean, that's just how the Commanders' offense is. When they get the ball in the red zone, they're just going to pound the rock. I mean, he did have one to Dyami Brown that literally hit him in the face mask, and no one was 5 yards close to him, and he just dropped it. I think they put up 27 points. Putting up 27 points on the Steelers defense, I mean, that's no joke. And I mean, I did see TJ Watt come out and say that Justin Fields was huge for them preparing for this game because, I mean, Justin Fields is one of the most mobile freak quarterbacks in the NFL, similar to what Jaden Daniels is. So, the late spot by the ref was bad. Zach Ertz probably, I think it was a first down, but at the end of the day, you can't leave the game up to the refs. And then, I think the whole stadium, except for one player, knew that the Steelers were not going for it on 4th down there. And that player just happened to be on the Commanders' defensive line. So would have loved to see Jaden Daniels get the ball back there late with a chance to go down and have a game-winning drive. But just how it is.
That is exactly how it is. And I mean, yeah, Jaden Daniels, I will say he had a pretty solid game. But I think in terms of the Commanders as a team, this is an interesting stat for you, Mr. Maxey Stats. The Commanders are 6-1 versus teams under 500, teams that have lost more games than they have won. And they are now 1-2 versus teams over that mark. So you got to start to think, okay, is this a team that can really win those big football games? I do think Jaden Daniels he's the best quarterback in his class as of today. Drake May is trending upwards. But is this a team that can win in those games versus the teams that are going to be in the playoffs? Is this team set up for success to win in, you know, in a game like that where it's like, all right, this is one score. We're at home. We're playing in a, you know, potential sort of, you know, two playoff teams are going at it, you know, head to head. We need to be able to make the plays and we need to be able to win this game. We're up 10 points. It's 24-14. The Baltimore Ravens, you know, let's think about another team that's going to be, they would have buried that team. They would have buried the Steelers with Derrick Henry. They would have buried the Steelers with Lamar Jackson on the ground. But instead, we see something where the Commanders take that L. Even with Jaylen Warren fumbling the football on the 1 yard line, giving the Commanders the ball back with the lead, and we still cannot get the win. So it's like we have to kind of temper our ratings on certain players and certain teams, especially right now when we have to win the big games before, you know, they're a top team in the NFC, top player as a quarterback in the league as well.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, we'll see here in the next couple of weeks. I think they play the Eagles. I think they got the Eagles next week. And then I think they have them 2 weeks after again. So, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see at the end of the year. I still wish the Commanders would have gone out and gotten another weapon for Jaden Daniels because, I mean, Terry McLaurin is great, but I think they need something better than Noah Brown and Luke McCaffrey. So hopefully next year in the offseason they'll go out and try and get another receiver to pair with Terry McLaurin, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But another great game from the 4 o'clock slate this time is the Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals played the New York Jets in Arizona, and the Cardinals absolutely smashed the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers, he needs to get something going. He's leaning a lot on Davante Adams when one of the best receivers in the league is Garrett Wilson on the other side of him. And the Cardinals defense haven't given up a touchdown in 3 weeks. They rattle off their 4th straight win. They are in the lead in the NFC West, and it's looking like a team that is going to be making the playoffs. And, you know, my personal favorite quarterback other than Bryce Young in the entire league is rolling right now. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown, 30 points on fantasy, and he made the New York Jets defense look silly multiple times in that game. Could he potentially be an MVP candidate? We will see. But the New York Jets are officially in the dumpster. They are probably going to be looking forward to next season. And I don't really see a path where the New York Jets can make the playoffs at this point with the AFC looking as strong as it is. But the Cardinals, they are rolling. And they are looking like a team that you have to fear every single time Kyler Murray straps his helmet up and he lines up across from you. You have to be scared of Marvin Harrison Jr. Trey McBride is a certified dog for the Arizona Cardinals. James Conner is slippery as all get out. And this team is going to be scared or scary to watch and scary to play moving forward. BB, how do you feel about Arizona Cardinals? Do you think the New York Jets are going to be looking forward to next season? Do they have any form of hope for the 2024 season at all?
Hey, you kind of feel bad for the Jets because clearly they were trying to go out and just get a quick ring. It kind of feels like they were trying to do something similar to Brady with the Buccaneers. Like Brady, and he went to the Buccaneers. They went out and got Rob Gronkowski. Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets. They went out and got Davante Adams. So it kind of feels like they were trying to just get a quick ring and kind of maybe sell out for the year, paying this 40-year-old quarterback $40 million. But it is they might be the most down bad team in the league right now. Like clearly they were selling out and now they might have a top 5 pick. I don't know what Davante Adams contract situation looks like, but I know this is Aaron Rodgers last year under contract. So this could be the last year in the league for Aaron Rodgers. So it's sad to see it going this way. In terms of the Cardinals, yeah, they're a young, exciting team, explosive offense. You just said they haven't allowed a touchdown in 3 weeks. I think that's a pretty wicked stat. Obviously, their defense is on the elite side too. But I'm a believer in Kyler Murray some more than others in this show right now, and I'm looking forward to watching him going forward.
BB, do you think that these last 2 years in New York have somehow tarnished Aaron Rodgers' legacy as a quarterback? Have they hurt his Hall of Fame chances by any chance? Or what do you think about the last 2 years in New York, considering Tom Brady, like you said, was able to go to Tampa Bay? He was able to win a Super Bowl. He was able to move another organization towards the promised land, but the New York Jets have been all the same. And Aaron Rodgers, yes, he has that Super Bowl ring, but other than that, it's like, okay, is this something that's enough to tarnish his legacy overall as a quarterback in the NFL?
He hasn't had a good year this year, but he got hurt first game of last year. But I don't think the rest of his career is elite. Multiple MVPs, a Super Bowl win. This guy's one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen, what he can do with the ball. So I don't think it really affects his legacy. Yeah, this has been a pretty atrocious year for Aaron Rodgers standards, I would say. But tarnish his legacy and affect his Hall of Fame chances? I don't think so. I think he's in the Hall of Fame for sure. But I don't think it affects his legacy.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, dude, like just the way he throws a football deserves a hall in the Hall of Fame, because like he's like one of the first quarterbacks I've seen is able to just kind of flick it like that, and it's going 40 yards on a rope. And it's on a dime, too. So, I completely agree. Aaron Rodgers, this is what people are talking about on Twitter, though. It's like crazy, the fact that people are thinking Aaron Rodgers somehow, because of this season, at this age, at this stage in his career, somehow this tarnishes his legacy towards being in the Hall of Fame. One of the best quarterbacks of all time. But looking at one of the best quarterbacks of right now, I have to get – after this performance, I have to know if a couple of guys, like, would you rather Kyler Murray or would you rather somebody else? And this is a new segment that we are introducing to Unlocked, and we are going to kick it off with a quarterback and a wide receiver who had 2 great days, and Kyler Murray is the first guy on the docket. Max, would you rather have Kyler Murray or Jordan Love?
Jordan Love.
Okay, BB.
Right now, I would think I would rather have Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. Okay, Kyler Murray or Justin Herbert?
Give me Justin Herbert. They're winning football games. Me and you talked about this. I think it was yesterday. Justin Herbert is sneaking his way up back into that top 5 quarterback range. He's doing it with Lab McConkey and QJ1. So
yeah,
or Justin Herbert.
If I'm starting an NFL franchise, I feel like I have to go Justin Herbert.
Good Lord, you guys need to learn ball, man. You guys need to watch. Do you guys watch the Arizona Cardinals games, or do you guys kind of in the box score?
I watched the whole game yesterday.
I watch them.
All right.
Marvin Harrison's been horrible all year, so it's kind of frustrating, but yeah, I watch him.
Kyler Murray or CJ Stroud?
We also talked about how Stroud's kind of dropping his way out of the rankings. I'll go with Kyler Murray.
Okay.
I gotta go with. I'm not a Kyler Murray hater. I like him a lot. Give me CJ Stroud though.
Kyler Murray or Josh Allen?
Josh Allen. Come on.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford.
Right now or starting a franchise?
Right, just right now.
Give me Stafford. Stafford's a beast. He won a Super Bowl.
I get even starting it right now and starting in future. Give me Kyler Murray.
Thank you, BB. Kyler Murray or Brock Purdy?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray or Jaden Daniels?
Jaden Daniels. Come on, you know that's easy. Jaden Daniels.
I'll ride with you, Key. Give me Kyler Murray.
Okay. Kyler Murray or Patrick Mahomes?
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. Kyler Murray or Joe Burrow?
Burrow, easy.
Burrow.
Okay, so you guys have Jordan Love. You guys prefer Jordan Love over Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert over Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Stafford, Purdy, or no, not Purdy, Jaden Daniels, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow. So you guys do not see Kyler Murray as even really being a top 10 quarterback in the league.
I think he's right around 10.
I would say he's in the 8-12 range.
Yep.
That is hilarious. I'll tell you, the only guys I'm taking over Kyler Murray on that list are Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow. Everybody else, of course, Lamar Jackson. I didn't put him on the list. We all know Lamar Jackson over Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray, for me, is the 5th quarterback in the entire league. And the fact that we're putting Jordan Love, have you guys watched Jordan Love play football this year?
He does look a little lackluster back there, but I've seen what he can do with the football. He throws it. I feel like Jordan Love, he kind of plays football sexy. So when it works, you're like, whoa, this dude's unreal. But when it doesn't work, you're kind of like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah, but, some of his decision making is like Josh Allen's. He's got some bad decision making, but he also does throw some crazy balls. So
the difference between Jordan Love and Josh Allen, though, is Josh Allen wins on these plays more often than he is just making himself look like a goofball. Jordan Love, I don't know exactly, but I know he's got to be up there in interceptions this year. Every single game, his team is hurting because the last time he took the field, he threw an interception on a screen route right to the other defender, pick six. His team is hurting because of it. You're not seeing stuff like that from Kyler Murray.
I kind of want to change my decision on that one. I kind of want Kyler Murray over Jordan Love.
Yeah, Kyler's
not better.
But the rest I'm not changing. The rest I'm not changing.
Yeah, Kyler's a very safe quarterback. Jordan Love's gonna throw those contested balls, and Kyler Murray's not.
And throw interceptions. Max, just say what they are, dude. They're picks. They are interceptions.
Well, your Lord and Savior Patrick Mahomes is also up there in picks. So let's talk about that.
Okay, Max. We can definitely. We can also tell you the difference between Patrick Mahomes and Jordan Love if you want. Patrick Mahomes has 3 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah. But you were talking about interceptions.
Patrick Mahomes is 8-0.
We're talking about interceptions this year. The Packers have a good record. Are they 6-3, 6-4, something like that?
Probably 5-3 because they had a bye week. 5-3, but Patrick Mahomes is 9-0, dog.
I'm not saying
there's levels. There's levels.
Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying if you bring up interceptions, Mahomes is up there.
Yeah, but Kyler Murray's not up there. And Kyler Murray just made another defense look goofy.
He's a check down merchant.
He's literally not a check down merchant, dude. He's not. You should go watch the film, man, and then get back to me on the check down merchant where he's throwing dimes to Marvin Harrison Jr., throwing dimes to Trey McBride, scampering all over the New York Jets defense. Then get back to me on the whole check down merchant thing. But I think BB had another who would you rather, and it's a wide receiver.
Here we go. For this segment, we got a little who would you rather. Terry McLaurin edition. Let's start it off with Terry McLaurin or George Pickens.
Terry McLaurin.
George Pickens. All day.
Terry McLaurin or DK Metcalf.
DK.
Terry McLaurin. For sure.
Terry McLaurin or DJ Moore.
Terry.
Terry McLaurin or Mike Evans?
You can go first, Max.
Terry.
I gotta go Mike Evans. He's had some poop quarterbacks, and he still goes for 1,000-yard years every single year. So I gotta go Mike Evans.
Terry McLaurin or Nico Collins?
Terry
McLaurin or Malik Neighbors?
Terry. I gotta go Terry.
I'll go Neighbors there.
Terry McLaurin or AJ Brown?
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. Top
See,
five.
we were in, I feel like I was listing them in a chronological order. Terry McLaurin or Amon Ra?
Amon-Ra.
Terry.
Yeah, right.
Whoa!
Come on, bro.
That's
Bro,
not-
I'm
yeah,
actually starting
right.
to think. I'm starting
That's
to think
not
Max
yeah,
is not
right.
one. Why
No, I
not?
did-
Why, how is that
Yeah,
not?
right.
Yeah, right.
That's not right.
Yes,
Terry,
it is,
Terry
bro.
McLaurin. We're finally seeing what Terry McLaurin can do with a competent quarterback. So
Amon Ra scored in 7 straight.
okay, and that comes down to play calling. He has plays drawn up for him every week to get a touchdown. I mean, it's good. I mean, I'm not hating on Amon Ra, but Terry's a beast.
I mean, obviously, I didn't include like the CDs, the Garrett Wilsons, the Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, because I feel like we can all agree, right? Those guys are better than Terry.
Yeah.
Terry
that's
McLaurin or Devontae Adams.
Terry McLaurin.
Right now, Terry.
Yeah. So,
Devontae Adams had one hit him in his chest yesterday in the end zone. He just dropped it.
speaking of hitting it in the chest, how about the Cowboys? I mean, Jerry Jones and CD kind of not really going back and forth, but kind of throwing shade.
I didn't see that. What did they say?
Because there was a play in that Cowboys game. It was early, and the sun
couldn't
was
see.
coming in from the windows, and CD it literally was right to him, and he didn't even see it. And he said the reporters asked him if they needed to add some blinds to the stadium, which I'm pretty sure they have. So I think they have them, but they just weren't. The sun was, I mean, beaming. I saw like a point of view from where CD was like looking into. I mean, you literally can't see anything.
Yeah, I saw that same camera view. It literally, it was blinding. Like, why did they think that was ever going to be a good idea?
Yeah.
Until you had that whole side wide open, the windows.
Yeah.
It's just
And then
Did Jerry Jones have something to say about that?
yeah. He said, oh well, I mean, we put we put $4 billion into the stadium. Let's just tear it down and build a new one.
literally, I just don't understand. Yeah, they should be like tinted windows or something.
Yeah.
Or like they should have blinds or like a big curtains that they can drop down. Like just only during that certain time of the day, because clearly it's 4 o'clock window.
Yeah.
The sun's starting to set, time change and everything. Sun's starting to set perfectly down in those windows. There needs to be a fix for that. Because I saw the same camera view from CD's point of view.
You can't see it.
It looks like you're looking directly into the sun.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Well, I think I finally understand why CD wears the darkest visor known to man.
I mean, it's literally like a complete flip of the field too. If you're going the other way, that's an easy touchdown. But since they were on that side of the field, it was literally right to him. He couldn't even see the ball.
Can't see it. Dude, there's a lot. Like it seems like there's a lot going on with the Cowboys because Micah Parsons, he had some quote in an interview today or like yesterday or whenever, but he was talking about Mike McCarthy and how he feels bad for all the players, but they put in way more work than Mike has ever put in or something like that. And it's like, whoa.
About like Zach Martin.
Whoa. I mean, I think I get what he was trying to say. Like he feels bad, for somebody like Zach Martin, who this could potentially be their last game in the NFL, but like, this is your coach, dog. Like you can't kind of just sprinkle in at the end that your players put in way more work than the coach does. But I guess he's going on his own podcast to talk about his feelings on Mike McCarthy, and everybody has to go there to watch that. So
I kind of would like to see the Cowboys kind of just restart. Like clearly Jerry Jones is not cut out to be the GM. Like they have struggled in the big games in the playoffs for what is it, like 30 years now? Like they haven't won a playoff game. Like something's got to change. Clearly it's not working. Coaching staff, owner and GM in the same sentence, but I would like to see a fresh start because like CD's crazy. Like we need to see this team be better.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about that though, BB, is like Jerry Jones is not giving up.
But But like, how old is this guy? I'm looking it up.
Oh,
he's
Got it.
yeah,
At
he's
least 85.
82. Like
Yeah,
I don't want
Like,
to
dude,
be.
that's
I don't
old.
want to. I don't want
yeah,
to like
it is.
say like something bad, but like surely it's not much longer. Like as bad as that is to say, like like well, this guy can't be 90 being the GM of an NFL team, right?
Yeah, surely not. Surely not.
Dude, I think he might take it. He probably has it in his will.
Take it to the
Who's going to
grave.
be the next GM? Like that's how it's going to go down. It's like in his will. That's where you find out who the next GM for the Cowboys is.
But Jared's probably
Probably.
Jerry Jones Jr. It's like, geez Louise, dude.
Yeah, he's been training him up. Don't you dare give up the ownership of this damn team. You run the GM. But yeah, no, they're in a tough spot. But on to some college football from this week. We had some big games. We talked about it. It's Elimination Saturday. You lose and you're out. If Ole Miss could get a big win, they might be in. And Ole Miss did get a big win. And Jackson Dart went out early, and the backup for the Ole Miss Rebels looked like a dude. Like, who is that guy, BB?
His name's Austin Simmons, I think. He's a big lefty. He also pitches for the baseball team. But
okay,
after seeing what he can do on the football field, I doubt Lane's going to be wanting to see him pitch this spring, knowing Jackson Dart's gone. So I think Morgan told me that he had Tommy John this past offseason, so his arm's like back, fully live, ready to roll. But he looked like a dude. He slings that thing 100 miles. It was almost no touch, just straight power.
yeah. But they went right down the field.
Yeah,
and punched one in the mouth.
I feel like that could have been a different game if they don't go score that drive, because Jackson Dart threw a pick on the third play of the game. Georgia immediately scored following, and you're like, whoa, like this game could get out of hand. But nope, backup comes in, marches straight down the field for a TD. It was cool to see.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely electric. And that defense was like, dude, I'm watching the game. Like, if the defense has like 5 or 6 guys, they get a guy like for tackle for loss, and there's guys crawling on the ground, there's guys air pumping. It's like, yeah, put that in my veins. And that's exactly what the Ole Miss defense had. Like, they were literally like all over the ball. They were hawking the ball. They had a lot of like they looked like the better team, and they were literally breathing NFL like some NFL talent, sure, but SEC football was just all over that Ole Miss defense. And it's like that team deserves a spot in the playoff with the way that they're rolling. Like, oh my gosh.
I think they're the AP poll came out, they're 10, but then I've seen like a bunch of college football predictors that they're going to be number 8 on the new college football playoff that comes out. So I think as long as they win out, they play Florida, who's not a very good team, and Mississippi State, I think they're in for sure.
Yeah, this is honestly like I don't think that they're gonna make the SEC championship, but like honestly, that's a good thing for them because like you lose that third game, you're out. You know what I mean? But like now you can kind of just win your last 2 games versus 2 teams that you should be anyways, and you're in. And it's like now Georgia's the team on the ropes. They're going to Tennessee this weekend. I think College Game Day is going to, or they're at home. They're playing Tennessee. I think College Game Day is going to be there. But it's now the tables have turned, and Georgia's the team that has to win the game. But Ole Miss with a big win at home versus UGA. And Max, the team that you're wearing, the shirt you got on, the Crimson Tide, they rolled into LSU and dog walked the Tigers. They stared that Tiger right in the face and said, there's levels to this shit, man. And we're about to dog y'all in your house, and we're going to make it look ugly. Jalen Milroe had 4 touchdowns in that game. Max, were you able to watch that game?
I got to watch like a little bit of it, like some of the fourth quarter, but I mean at that point the game was already over. But I mean I saw highlights of Jalen Milroe running all over that LSU defense. I mean, he's looking like he might be the fastest player in all of college football. So,
dude,
he's straight.
That one where he broke off on the sideline. he was moving.
He's a fastest player on the field, easily.
Yeah.
Fastest player on the field.
Oh my God. Yeah. He literally outran everybody.
If you're a QB and you're outrunning DBs, like,
yeah,
that's unfair.
That is
You're outrunning LSU DBs. Like, good luck.
yeah.
And he can also run straight through you. Like, kind of a
dude, he's huge. Like, he's actually huge. And like, to imagine meeting that guy in the open field. If you're a DB, freshman DB, you're about 190. This guy's coming 4.2 speed. He weighs probably 230. You're getting trucked.
Like, pummeled.
And he's going to
pummel.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, Bama ran for 311 yards and 6 tutties. Like, you're not gonna lose a football game if you run for over 300. I mean, that means you most likely dominated the time of possession. The other team flat out just didn't have the ball if you're running that much, and 6 touchdowns on the ground. Like,
yeah,
that's rough for LSU. And another stat was Bama was 10 for 13 on third down, which is elite efficiency. On the other side, LSU was 6 for 14, so they couldn't really get it done on third down, and that's why the game was so one-sided on the ground. And third down.
Those two things tied together, you're not going to win the football game. And college football analyst Carson Jones said that last week. He literally said, "What I asked him, what do you think Bama has to do to win this game?" And he said, "Run the football. Like they just have to run the football." And they ran the football, all right. Like, they ran it right down their throats multiple times, and they literally just looked like a different football team than they did weeks ago, or when they lost to Tennessee. Jalen Milroe looked like a completely different quarterback. And, you know, Carson also said today, if they play like that, they're winning the national championship. And I can't say they won't, because running the football the way that they were and dominating them on the road, like, that is a college football national championship style team. And I think Bama's got a chance. They absolutely have a chance to do something special, but they do have to go through them Buckeyes. And the Buckeyes are there. You're not running for 300 yards on that defense, not that front seven, and not that defensive back room. Like, it's going to be this college football playoff is going to be elite, dog. It's going to be elite.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
I hope we see some of the big dogs in the SEC face off, like earlier in the playoffs. Like, I'd like to see Bama have to come to Ole Miss. That'd be a legit game.
Georgia, Bama, first round.
Yeah, but like I'd rather see Ole Miss. I'm not crazy about watching Georgia.
Okay. I mean, if Ole Miss has to come to Tuscaloosa,
it is over.
It's done. It's done.
That'd be a crazy game.
That would be a good game. How many teams are technically in right now for SEC? Tennessee's in, Bama's in,
Texas.
Georgia's 12, right?
Yeah, Georgia's in.
Georgia's
Texas
in, Ole Miss is in, Texas. That is 5. Is there 6 that I'm missing or no?
Where's A&M at?
No,
I think A&M's on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I think they're like 15, 16.
Gotta feel bad. You're a one-loss team, and you're outside looking in. Sucks.
Yeah, you're hating from outside the club there. BB, you were talking about the SEC championship, like the potential's there. What are some of the scenarios that you were coming with? 2 lost teams, like 6 2-loss teams, or like whatever it is, where Texas could lose to Texas A&M late, and now they have 2 losses. Texas A&M is like, are they in the SEC championship? Is Ole Miss with 2 losses in the championship? Bama.
Yeah, it was Tennessee is 5-1 right now. Obviously, they still play Georgia. Texas A&M is 5-1 in the conference. Texas Longhorns are 4-1. Georgia's 5-2. Ole Miss is 4-2. Alabama's 4-2. So at the end of the season, all 6 of these teams could be 10-2, except for Texas. If Texas A&M beats Texas, Texas is 10-2 as well. So it's like I was looking at tiebreakers and stuff. There's a lot of like combined records, but I think they were saying Georgia would win the tiebreakers because of their strength of schedule. I'm pretty sure they've played every single one. They will have played every single one of those teams I just named.
Jesus.
So yeah, their strength of schedule is absolutely ridiculous. But I don't think Ole Miss will have to play in the SEC title game. I don't think Alabama will have to play in the SEC title game. I think it's going to be Texas versus either Georgia or Tennessee will be in the SEC title game. Unless Texas A&M beats Texas Longhorns last week of the season, then it'll be Texas. It could be back-to-back games, Texas versus Texas A&M for the SEC championship.
I mean,
So there's a lot of crazy stuff that plays out there over the next 3 weeks. But to know for a fact what's going to happen, I don't think you can yet.
That's another thing that I'm interested to see is if the committee punishes a team that makes the SEC championship and they lose and then they're just out like that. I mean, you'd hate to see that they get punished like that, but I guess that's just what they're gonna have to do with this new playoff. It's gonna be very interesting to see how everything kind of plays out. The only way that I think the SEC championship loser gets in is if Texas wins out, and then the SEC championship loss will be their second loss. If there's a team that makes it to the SEC championship that's 10-2 and then loses to make them 10-3, I don't think a 3-loss team gets into the playoff. That sucks. That sucks.
It does. If Georgia makes it at 10-2 and then loses
that sucks. It's
versus an Ole Miss that's 10-2 and doesn't have to play.
Yeah, you'd rather not make it. Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
Straight up, rather not make it. I do that. That's because they want the 12 best teams.
Unless you win it, right? Would you rather make it and win it and you have the first round bye, or do you want that home game?
Yeah.
You want the playoff home game?
I'll take the playoff home game, man. Going up against Texas, Texas is
also
college football.
Also, during the SEC championship, your team gets a bye week. I think 100% you'd rather not be in it.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, you definitely. I mean, you would rather not be in it. You get the automatic bye week. But if you can win it, if you can go to the SEC championship and win it, that's the ideal case because now you're in the playoff with a bye week. You get the week off, and then you go for the chip from there. But it's I thought we wanted the 12 best teams in this playoff, and let's be honest, 6 of the 12 best teams are in the SEC.
Simple as that. Yeah.
So
the
6 of those
should
teams
have 0. The ACC should have 0 teams in.
That was another argument I saw earlier was that if you don't make the SEC championship, it's also better because you get that bye week during the championship weeks, and then you most likely get to play either a Big 12 champ or an ACC champ, and those are just not as hard of a game as the others.
Yeah.
Unless it's Colorado. Colorado is, as of right now, Colorado is slated to be in the Big 12 championship after Kansas beat Iowa State Colorado got their win. Colorado, we talked about it last week. If Colorado can slide their way into the playoff, they might just with Shedeur and Travis Hunter with Dion as your coach, automatic aura boost for the college football playoff, but they have a squad. They have the playmakers. I don't think that. I mean, they're not going to beat Bama. They're not going to beat the SEC squads. But let's say they get to pull Ashton Genty and the Boise State guys. It's hey, let's see. Let's line them up and let's play. Let's line it up and let's play. You know what I mean? I would love to see Colorado make it, but you have to win the Big 12 championship. So, I mean, we'll have to see what happens with the committee's got. I think that they make their picks on Tuesdays, right? That's where they Tuesday. So we're expecting to see 5 teams from the SEC, 4 teams from the Big 10 in the top 5. That would be Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Indiana. But I also saw a stat today that I think so there's 4 teams or 5 teams in the top 5 have not beat, or 3 teams in the top 5 have not beaten a ranked opponent. That is Texas, Penn State, and Indiana. Alabama has 4 ranked wins in this season. So it's but I mean, this year has been absolute mayhem. But before we get out of here, we do have to get Maxie's Mortal Lock on the Monday Night Football. I have to bring up Maxie's graphic here because I hope you guys have been keeping up. Maxie is 5-0 in his Mortal Locks, and he says today what did you call it? A super max double? What is it?
A mega whale max.
This is a Mega Well Max Mortal Lock. So without further ado, the Dolphins play the Rams. I believe the Rams are favored by 1 point unless that line has moved around. It's going to be a big time Monday Night Football game. I personally have the Miami Dolphins winning in this game today. But first, BB, who do you have in this game? Then we'll get Maxie's Mortal Lock.
The Dolphins, I think, are going to have an offensive explosion. Tyreek Hill is going to have a big game. I'm going for a Miami Dolphins W on the spread and for them to win outright.
I love it. All right, Max.
Yeah, I'm also the same way. I think the Dolphins might be the best with Tua in right now. I mean, they might be the best 2-win team or 2-7 team maybe ever. I mean, they're a good team. So my play is Devin Achane over 102.5 rushing plus receiving. He's hit this in 4 of the 5 games this year that Tua's played. I think including the last 3. Mostert fumbled last week, and then he didn't really play after that. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see. I mean, obviously he's going to get some goal line work. But I mean, and Tyreek is a game time decision. I think he has like a wrist injury. So we won't know until probably 30 minutes before the game if he's playing. Even if he is playing, I mean, I still like Achane. I think he's had like 8 receptions and 6 receptions in the last 2 games. And the Rams have given up over 100 plus scrimmage yards to running backs in the last 3 games. And I think Achane's better than all of them. Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker, and Zamir White. I like it a lot. And let's see if we can stay hot and go 6-0.
Okay, so
I do like that.
What is the official Mortal Lock?
Devin Achane over 102.5 rushing plus receiving.
Okay, and that's a super mega whale max Mortal
You're
Lock.
just gonna call it, yeah. I like that.
I do like it. I mean, he could break one for 80
well,
yards.
I think I think his rushing line is at like 60. So I mean, if you like the rushing line, I mean, I like it too. I mean, you can play it safe and go with that, but I think he's gonna bust out a little bubble screen for about 60.
He can take a screen the whole way, easy.
Pierce Ingles says he's throwing 50 beans on that mug, baby.
Wow. I like it.
I mean, if you're 5-0, like if people have been trailing, if people have been throwing 50 on every single play, I mean, they're cashing out right now.
Yeah, you're up about $250 if you're throwing 50 on.
Let's say you're a bad boy and you roll over. You roll over. Oh, you're up probably about a G right now.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Max. About $5,000.
Yeah, I've got 500 on this one tonight. So
I mean, you called it a super well mega max.
It's a lot of adjectives in there.
How many units are you putting on this one?
I put 30 on it. I might have to. I'll probably throw 20 more on before the game starts.
Okay, so you're
because if I'm gonna wait and see if Tyreek's playing. If Tyreek isn't playing, I might put like 80 on it.
Jeez. Okay. So Achane is the man tonight.
Yeah, I mean he's been when Tua's playing, he's been fantasy RB1. So he's averaging like 25 points a game.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Let me get my DraftKings open right after the episode.
Yep.
Just see what's going on in there. So we got to, I guess we'll recap Maxie's Mortal Lock tomorrow. We will recap the Miami Dolphins game tomorrow as well. Hopefully the Miami Dolphins can get a win and this entire show can stay hot in terms of all things sports, and we all picked the Dolphins for tonight. So hopefully that they can get a big win, and hopefully you guys had a great start to your week, had a great Veterans Day as well. We're going to break this thing out, and we're going to head into another beautiful Tuesday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. This show is growing. This show is getting better every single day. We're going to see a lot more Maxie's stats on here. Maxie's 5-0. I hope you guys can go 1-0 today. I'm excited to get what the word of the week is from Coach Kellen DeBoer after a big win in LSU, and they were damn sure relentless. So let's see what the word of the week is from Kellen DeBoer, and we will continue to adopt that in the show. I appreciate you guys so much for coming in. We'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Tick, tick, tick.
Keep pounding.
No, sir.